Sometimes I wish I was a kid again, because it feels like that was the time I was most happy, or at least that was the most new and exciting life was. And I really worry that I'll never have that feeling again. And that makes me worry that I'll never be truly happy again. But I'm here to talk about my problems. Well, can we at least shoot eggs metaphorically at my emotional problems? Great. Well, let's give it a try. Banjo-Kazooie. It's so good. And you know that because I was all like, before I said anything. That's the I like this shit noise. But as always, we're here to talk about why it is so truly good. Why this charming, relatively simplistic game about exploring, collecting, and egg farting manages to embody both your childhood and mine. And the joy, beauty, and sadness that comes along with that. Banjo-Kazooie is about collecting things. But not really. Even though the object of the game is to collect every puzzle piece, music note, and toothpick-shaped, sentient, fucking sweetheart guy, whatever. It's not about the mere collection of said items, it's about exploring the game's world. The collectibles serve as a tangible, numerical value to show you how much of the world you have explored. And that exploring is really what it's all about. It's about finding a mumbo skull behind this rock, or finding this jiggy back here, or draining this pool of water to find out this castle has a hole inside you can explore with a crab inside it, serving hard time, or finding this Jinjo drowning down here, or this one drowning over here, or this one drowning over here. Or finding a bunch of small turtles having a concert inside a much larger turtle. Seriously though, why do all of these animals have smaller versions of those same animals living inside of them? Oh shit, are these embryos? Why do they have faces and fully formed bodies? Uh-oh. You see, you're not just collecting puzzle pieces so that you can put them together to unlock a new world literally, you're also doing that emotionally. Because collecting and exploring leads you to even more collecting and exploring. Especially since every world is within the overworld, you get the sense that you're uncovering more and more of a place you're already familiar with. It's as if Gruntilda's lair is your house, except it's obviously her house because it's, the same shape as her entire fucking head, and each new world is like a whole new backyard for you to run around in and go hunting for cool stuff. And those worlds are so lovely and lovable, and I love them. The sights, the sounds, everything. Not only does Banjo-Kazooie's world become your happy place because you've mapped it out and you have all these crazy collectibles to show for it, but it's also just a place that you want to be. When I get scared or feel pressured, I can get lost in Banjo-Kazooie in a way that I can't with other games, because when I play it, it feels like coming home. And my home is a place that's filled with color, innocence, and charm. Everything from shooting eggs into this Sphinx nose to fix his sinus issues, to saving adorable Christmas lights from certain devouring doom. This game just makes you happy to be a part of it all and to be alive. This is the stuff of pure joy, made all the more special and exciting because you found it all. The game showed it to you, but it didn't take you by the hand and point you in the exact direction of your goal. It sat you down in an amazing playground full of fun, lovable stuff, and you learned the moves, found the stuff, and saved your sister. Everything you accomplished, you did so because it was all part of an exciting and enriching adventure that naturally unfolded more and more because of your desire to explore and have fun. That's where the joy of Banjo-Kazooie really stems. That childlike part of us that just wants to see the world and all of its wonder, beauty, and delight. And I think it's that makes Banjo-Kazooie not just a game about egg farting your way to 100 puzzle pieces, 900 music notes, and 54 strange rainbow elf men, but a way to keep in touch with our sense of childlike wonder and remind ourselves that the world can be a place of pure joy and discovery. Well, like I was saying, I don't often feel happy as an adult, and it feels like I was always happy when I was a kid. As a kid, I lived in a valley that was relatively tucked away from my hometown, and one of my favorite things to do growing up there was to just run around outside and just explore until the sun went down. I used to do it all the time, but less and less as I got older and more jaded and lame. But on one of those teenage days when I found myself confused and overwhelmed in the face of what was likely zero real adversity, I went outside again. And I remember coming across this beautiful clearing in the woods that I had never seen before in any of my 18 years growing up there. And I remember when I saw it, I just started to feel really emotional, like a little bitch, and I didn't really understand why at the time. But I think now I do. It was the first time in a while that I had that feeling of childlike wonder and discovery, which was something I hadn't experienced that much in those late teen years because I was too busy watching David Lynch movies and feeling sorry for myself or whatever I was doing, and I missed it. The thing is, when you're becoming an adult, you still discover new things about the world around you, but it's often things that suck. There's no mumbo skull behind the rock anymore, it's just an unpaid electric bill. When you explore the sandcastle, you no longer find some neat puzzle to do and a cool-ass crab. You just find a W-2 form and the sudden realization that now you have to file taxes somehow. Becoming an adult is really all about the discovery that you are your own responsibility, and that often makes the world seem like a less fun, more horrifying place to navigate. Imagine if Banjo-Kazooie's world was filled with the adult-type discoveries that cause us pain. You would just walk into that giant turtle, and instead of finding a choir of wonderful turtles inside, you would just encounter a man who obviously dislikes you for some reason, giving you a job interview. And after answering all of his questions, he wouldn't give you a jiggy, he would just sigh and say, "Thanks for coming out." And you'd walk away worrying about whether or not you got the job or not because you had to buy groceries soon. But since he probably hated your face, you would have to go buy fast food, which is no longer fun and exciting like it used to be, and subtract a few hours from your maximum lifespan because of the long-term health ramifications, which is just so fun. It really would be just the best Banjo-Kazooie game ever. I mean, just so... God, some shit is just so depressing. And that kind of new experience doesn't always feel enriching, or like it's some kind of reward that helps you better put together the puzzle that is your life. You see, in Banjo-Kazooie, you can sort of walk around wherever and you'll eventually find the stuff you're looking for, and you'll have fun doing it. But when you're an adult and you find yourself walking around the real world aimlessly trying to find whatever it is you're looking for, it's not fun, and it can hurt. Often just because you don't exercise enough, and you are amazed at how out of shape you've become that just a simple walk can make you feel just so sore. But also because you feel like your life is purposeless. In Banjo-Kazooie, you might wander around for 20 minutes trying to find the last drowning Jinjo so he can give you the last Jiggy you need to unlock the next stage. And it might be a little frustrating, but really you're having the time of your life, because you're swimming around inside of a giant, super cool, mechanical fish, who is not only an awesome, giant, super cool mechanical fish, but also your friend. But in your real adult life, you might go for several years working at a shitty, unrewarding job, just to unlock the next shitty, unrewarding job that not only makes you feel even shittier, but is not your friend. And friendship's important. Needless to say, you're not always facing these adult challenges because they're fun or they're part of an exciting adventure. You're facing them because you're learning how to be responsible for you and your life. No wonder we feel nostalgic for our carefree childhoods. We had almost no real responsibilities that led to pain and frustration. No one ever said to us when we were kids, hey, master the art of grocery shopping for yourself, make sure you eat healthy, find satisfying employment, and find a purpose for yourself and your entire life all in one. Also, while you're at it, try really hard to not get stabbed. No, they were just like, check this shit out, candy, toys, adventure, playing outside. Also, here's a video game with all that stuff inside it as well as a bear and a bird. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but the way we remember it, it was awesome to be a kid and to have that overall sense of fascination and joy at the world around us. But the darker side of nostalgia for me has always been the realization that we'll never have those times back. We can reminisce all we want, but sometimes it's tough to cope with the fact that those memories are just memories and can't be relived. When we're in a dark place or even just not feeling our happiest, looking back on fun childhood memories can be a painful experience. We can't attain the specific brand of happiness attached to those memories again. And when we're thinking about past happiness being unattainable, it can sometimes make future happiness seem unattainable as well. Excuse me? What does that mean? Huh. I guess I hadn't really thought about it that way. When I came across that beautiful clearing in my backyard, I shouldn't have been sad, wondering if it was the last time I'd feel that sense of childlike wonder again. I should have just enjoyed the moment as it came, and fondly looked back on those childhood memories instead of seeing them as fleeting, because that's one thing I think is important to remember. Memories aren't fleeting. The larger part of nostalgia that makes the mourning of days gone by part insignificant is that every time we look back on one of our fondest memories, be it running around our childhood home or whatever, we feel at least a portion of the happiness we felt in the moment. That's what I feel when I play Banjo-Kazooie. Not only do I get to relive the joy of one of my favorite childhood games, but I also get to relive what it felt like to run around, explore, and discover the world around me. Banjo-Kazooie shows me that nostalgia shouldn't be a mournful experience, but a tool we can use to appreciate the past and happiness in general. And having that tool not only allows me to see the past for what it is, but the present as well. You see, as scary or awful as being an adult can be sometimes, it can also be way more awesome than being a kid sometimes. Hell, most of the time. Everything you accomplish as an adult, you do so because it's all part of a long and challenging adventure that naturally unfolds more and more because of your desire to grow and progress. That's what's great about adulthood. You fight for each moment of joy, instead of just finding it by accident in your backyard. Being an adult doesn't mean we've lost anything, but in fact have gained so much more than we had, and now have so much more capacity to create new, better memories, because now we are in control of our lives and ourselves. But that's not often something that's easy, because sometimes things do feel dark and pointless, and I can't be happy with where I am in my life or see what possible good the future can hold, but I can play Banjo-Kazooie. And Banjo-Kazooie reminds me of what it felt like to be a kid, running around and solving puzzles, going on grand adventures. And that makes happiness and creating new memories seem more attainable. Because if it could happen before, who's to say it won't happen again? And Banjo-Kazooie shows me that our most joyous moments aren't gone forever, or locked away in some sort of nostalgia box. That makes me less sad. That makes me more optimistic. That makes me see happiness as possible in the past, present, and future. I said it before and I'll say it again. Banjo-Kazooie is there to help us keep in touch with our sense of childlike wonder, and to remind us that the world can be a place of beauty and discovery, always. But it also makes me feel happy about where I've been and where I'm going. Thanks, Banjo. And thanks, Kazooie. Did I get the first one good? I grew up in a blah blah blah.
Did you grow up in a blah blah blah?
Yes.
It's my legs, man. Falling asleep.
Everything you accomplish as an adult. I grew up in a valley.
What does this look like? How much of me do you see?
Just your crotch.
I grew up in a valley that was relatively tucked away from the small town I grew up in.
Which just started gurgling.
Seriously though, why do that's a little too intense.
Seriously?
Fuck fuck with me!
Okay, stop.
No, it's still going.
Yeah? It's funny that the boom mic's pointed directly at my dick, too.